Shalom, beloved, and hopefully everyone is doing wonderful today. Just recently I saw this video where this so-called young African American was walking through a community that he and his mom stayed in, and a street gentleman approached him and questioned, where did he stay, was he visiting, and what was he doing, right? Basically, the one even had a weapon. Now, what's troubling about this is, for me, is the fact that there was a few so-called black men that made videos and agreed with what these guys did. Them questioning this young man. As to say, hey, yeah, if somebody asked him, all he had to do was just say, hey, I stay around the corner or what have you. Again, if they felt that he was up to something nefarious or he committed a crime, they had every reason to stop him and call the authorities. Now, when people complained about it, the authorities said that there was no crime committed until social media began to, put this information and spread this video out there for people to really see what was going on. Then they begin to investigate. I think one of the gentlemen lost his job as well. But again, what's troubling, family, is the fact that most people of color that grew up in an all-black community or all-black neighborhood, we've seen where white folks, so-called white folks, would come into the neighborhood and they were there to sell insurance or promote some kind of product that their bosses or their business was trying to sell, or they were doing some kind of missionary work for their church. And it's sad to say, a few times, in a lot of cases, they were there to buy drugs. Let's just be honest. And there's going to be somebody say, oh, yeah, there you go, buying drugs, right? There you go. But you have to understand, how did the drugs get into the community? How did the drugs get into the hood? See, what's ironic is the same system that want to persecute, prosecute, criminalize, convict so-called black people is the same system that not only allowed, but in many cases brought drugs into the community. Let that sink in. Now, again, the thing that come across my mind is, what if black folk, so-called black folk, would stop and question so-called white folks from coming into their communities? We probably would have prevented incidents like the mass shooting in South Carolina, where Dylan Roof went into a church and unalived some of its members. Or when Peyton Gendron went into an establishment again and unalived the people from that community. We probably would have prevented these mass casualties, right? And the list goes on. Now, we don't have a history of going into all white communities and burning down houses and bombing churches and kidnapping children and feeding them to wild animals or molesting children. It's not a history that so-called black people really have. But again, when you call it out, people don't like to hear that. Again, every year we have some kind of incident like this happen. Again, not long ago, a so-called black gentleman, Ahmaud Arbery, was just jogging through a community, and there was some people that was from said community felt that he didn't belong in that area and unalived him. Even to the point where a person that was sworn in to uphold the law did everything in their power to hide evidence. You know, you know, did everything in their power to keep these gentlemen from being brought up on charges. This is the history. And every time you look up, it's another situation, another incident. And you have people tell you, again, people that look like us, say it's just answer the question. And this is why the system will never be fixed. Because the people that's trying to stand up and call out the foolishness, there's just enough of people that look like me that will just either look at you and say, well, you're the problem, or minimize your experience and say because they have not experienced racism or prejudice, that it don't exist. And that's dangerous. Because we can see the history. We can see the history. We can see it's embedded into the very culture, into the very fabric of this country. Again, system is not broke. It's doing what it was designed to do. Anyway, family, be safe. With that being said, as usual, peace, love, shalom.